Get in your goofy mode. Welcome back to another leg on our race around the world here at the Pitstop Pals, part of the Reality Realm Network. As we dive in to the newest season, this is our first season that we get to podcast as it's airing. My name is Kevin Oliver.
My name is Bruce Heller.
Don't be so excited.
Well, I was the same amount of excitement as you were.
No, you were not.
Yes, I was.
You just said that in monotone. My name is Bruce Heller.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. But Bruce, are you ready to go with a new season of The Amazing Race?
I am better.
Your I think your voice was so high pitched that I didn't catch all that. So I think you better go again.
No.
Bruce, are you ready for a new season of The Amazing Race?
Yes. You got the yelling once. Be happy with what you got.
It really did cut out in the middle of that.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe I'll do it again later in the episode.
Yeah. So what were
But
your?
you telling me to do it now makes me want to do it later.
Okay, I'm fine with that. What were your not anything specific, but just like your first thoughts. What'd you think of this episode?
It was really fun. I love this cast. There's not really anyone I don't like yet.
Which is going to be interesting when we talk about likability at the end.
I know that's going to be hard.
We'll get there, though. We'll get there. We got plenty of race to get through first.
Yeah, we do.
So, do you have any other thoughts before, or do we just want to dive right in?
Let's dive right in. Take it
All
away.
right. All right. So, they had to start on top. The race started with everybody walking across this bridge up in the air, like it was like a tunnel thing with open windows around it into an open window area. I called it a transparent building. That was actually the Academy Museum of Movie Making, and
Yeah,
this was the start of the race. And as we're getting started, we get to hear from a few of the different um, teams on this season. So I have some notes about some of the things that they said. Nick and Mike, my first pick in our draft, they've been applying for this show for 7 years.
yeah,
That is what I'd call dedication, and I don't know what took Amazing Race so long to cast them, but I really like them.
yeah. I agree. And we got
We
to see the end of their last audition video.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, I guess that must just be like the CBS thing of the time
Yeah,
with
they've
all the
been doing
audition
it with
videos.
Survivor the past couple seasons. Now they're doing it with Race too.
Yeah, we find out that Carson and Jack not only are they game streamers, they're D&D streamers.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that was a thing.
I'm. I feel like I did know it was a thing, but I just found that very interesting. And hang on here. Um,
I've played it like once and it was kind of boring, but I think that's
Hang
partly
on.
due to the group I was playing with.
Yeah,
We have a mutual friend that likes playing it, and I think if I played it with him, I'd have more fun. This is great content. He's talking to someone, so he's muted. Which means we haven't done this for a while. It's show and tell time. So this is a grape flavored cartridge that goes in my water bottle. It's called a circle water bottle. And these cartridges, they flavor the water. So this is a grape flavored cartridge. And Kevin might be back soon, so we'll see. But no. So we're gonna keep doing show and tell. And this is a tape dispenser, and it's got the really cool, like, transparent tape in there. You almost can't even see it in this shot. There you go. See? It's got the clear, transparent tape. I love that. And so, looking around, what else is close to me? This is my phone. Got a Survivor China phone case on it that I bought off of Redbubble. So that I've had that for a few years now. It's kind of beaten up a little bit, as you can see. But yeah, so I'd like for him to come back soon. I'm running out of show and tell items. Um, Here we go. This, oh, this is I accidentally turned it on. This is a space heater that's on the floor next to my desk in my office. So, okay, I think I got it turned off. And hoping Kevin is back now. Hey, you're back. Cool.
Why is it so dark in there?
This is just how it is when I record in my office.
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm glad you're back. I was running out of show and tell items.
Maybe you just need to fill your office with more things.
So I picked up the space heater next to my desk to do show and tell, and I accidentally hit the on button while I was picking it up. So I was like trying to turn it off while I was holding it. We had a
Burning
pretty
your
long
hands.
episode of random items around me show and tell this time. We did water bottle cartridge, we did tape dispenser. I showed that the tape dispenser has the clear tape on it.
Oh,
Not
fun.
not the like blurry tape, but like the actually clear tape.
Right.
And then I
Yeah.
picked up the large space heater next to my desk.
Sorry, the finance guy showed up to get the church money stuff, so
Nice.
I had to go on mute for a minute.
We haven't done show and tell for a while. I don't know if the audience is happy it's back or upset and sad that it's back, but it's back.
Let us know in the comments.
It's not going to change. That's what I'm going to do when Kevin mutes his mic, just because it's funny to me. But I just
All
need
right.
more random plant items in my on my desk just for show and tell purposes.
Exactly. Okay, the next person that we saw a little bit from was your first round draft pick, Pops and Jeff. And we don't really find out anything new that we didn't already know about them. They just tell us that once again they are lumberjacks from St. Louis.
Yeah. And we learned Pops is eight. I mean, I guess we saw it in the cast release thing, but Mr. Phil points out Pops' age.
And how he wishes he would look like
And
Pops
he's
when he
like,
was
what?
that
Like,
age.
he's like 60 something, isn't he?
64, right?
He's 64 and he's in better shape than me and has larger arms. Phil's like, oh, I wish I looked like that when I'm 64. I wish I looked like that now.
Phil is
Why?
57, so he's going to be at that 64 and not that long. 6 years
Okay, well, Phil's like,
or
oh, I wish
7 years.
I looked like that when I'm
7 years.
57. I wish I looked like that now at 25.
You wish you were bald?
Well, I just wish I was in the shape he's in. I'm not in very good shape.
Yeah, same. And then the last person that they go to is Scott and Lori. Once again, no, we don't learn anything new about them, but they highlight the fact that they have 8 sons,
Yeah,
and they've got to have been through the ringer with 8 sons. That's for
and,
sure.
and this was funny because Phil says, oh, I hear you guys are here because if you win, you're having another kid or something like that. And they're like, nope, we're out. Very funny little sequence there.
Absolutely. But some other big things that we see in this opening sequence. This is going to be a season of big surprises, including the first ever fork in the road that we are going to talk about in a lot more detail coming up. But the first ever fork in the road is going to result in this leg culminating in 2 eliminations.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure we'll have plenty of opinions on that when we get.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we like two races for most of the season now, or are they re-merging next week? Like, was this a
It
one
was
episode thing, or
it was a 1 episode thing.
okay? They hyped that up a lot for it to just be in the premiere episode and then go away.
I mean, every twist is pretty much just one episode in The Amazing Race.
I wasn't sure though. They probably could have kept it as two races for 3 or 4 episodes, then remerged them if they wanted to.
I would have hated that.
I would have too, but I thought they might do that because he said the 14 team race would become two 7 team races, which it did. I just wasn't sure how long that meant. I was
Yeah, yeah.
confused.
It was just for the first episode.
Yeah, I that's what I assumed, but they weren't super clear about that, so I was scared.
Hmm.
I feel like my confusion is fair.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. I just don't think that they would be that stupid.
Well, CBS doesn't have a great history with introducing new twists recently. Hourglass.
Hey, hey, hey. That's one of their shows that they don't do great twists with. We
But
haven't
it's their
seen that.
biggest one.
It is, but it's not their only one. The Amazing
Yeah.
Race, The Summit, Tough as Nails, all fairly new shows that have not had that same checkered history of bad twists.
Big Brother, maybe. I don't know.
Big Brother, I'm trying to think. Bad twist. Every twist has a section of the fan base that thinks it's terrible.
Didn't Oh, that sounds like Survivor.
On Big Brother,
Didn't the
yeah,
last Big Brother season have someone in there like acting, pretending to be an AI robot or something?
there was nobody acting to pretending to be an AI robot. No,
There was like some AI character that they either could let into the game, but they didn't let into the game, I thought.
right, but it was never a person that was in the house. It was always on a screen.
Okay, well, there was still an actor playing. It's not an actual AI robot.
Well, yes, the person was real, but everything that came out of the person's mouth was AI generated.
True. That's what I meant. But like it's still an actor playing a robot in the confessionals.
Right. Well, it didn't really have any confessionals either. It was just like one video that was shown to the group
Me being this
introducing.
confused about this twist kind of tells me that Big Brother is not on the same list as the other shows where the twists are all great. Because this is confusing me.
Okay, so it wasn't like it was a full on like dove into character. So it
Yeah.
was one person. The only time we saw her was when they showed a video to
Yeah.
to all the contestants, basically telling us about this person, so they could decide if they wanted to vote her into the game or not.
I'm
No,
very curious how it would have gone if they had.
I'm pretty sure it would have just gone with "Ha, jokes on you. It's an AI" versus "Ha, jokes on you. It's an AI."
Okay, so they wouldn't have actually become a player in the game?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So this whole thing is just pointless then.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just to play with the theme, I think.
This is so funny. This actually makes me smile now.
But the circle actually did play with an AI, but they purposely eliminated the AI like 2 rounds in.
Yeah. Also, anytime you're in a game and you're faced with the choice of do we allow another person into the game or not, why would you ever add another person? That's just more people for you to have to eliminate. I would always say no to that choice.
Even if the player was Boston Rob,
As much as I love Rob, those people made a smart decision.
but you were still really mad about it.
I was mad as a fan, and also because I didn't realize he was coming back. I thought NBC like false advertised and lied to me that he was going to be part of the cast, then was on my screen for 2 minutes.
You really thought that Rob would agree to do that?
For most of that first episode, I thought NBC had false advertised to me. I'm not saying it's the smartest thing I've ever thought, but that's where I was at. I thought they had made it look like he was a cast member only to do that.
No, there's no way Rob would have gone all the way to Scotland just for that.
Yeah, I know that now, but at the time I'm like, really? This is what we're doing?
Oh, I know. I was hearing your thoughts about that while it happened.
It was justified.
If you say so. Anyway, back to the Amazing Race.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
show we actually covered.
yeah. Well, we covered Traders, just not on this show.
No, but we don't cover Big Brother yet. We don't cover the summit.
Well, the summit may or may not come back, so maybe nobody will be covering the summit.
I
But
did I real quick before we get back on topic. I did see an ad last night for a show I'm kind of I forget what channel it is, but it's called like Extraction or something like that.
yeah, I watched that show, Extracted.
Oh, it's already on. I thought this was a preview for a season coming up. Dang, I'm
No,
behind already.
it's like 4 weeks in.
Oh,
You can watch it on Hulu.
but basically it's survival, but they can't quit. The only way they can get out is if a member quits for them.
Yeah.
So if I'm really struggling and I know I can't go, but my mom or my dad, whoever has the button, thinks I can, I'm screwed.
Hmm.
No way I'm going on that show, but it seems like it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and it's not like there's like moments where like they get like supply drops
Okay, yeah.
on and off, like and it's all stuff that the loved ones have to um send them.
So the Hunger Games.
I don't know. I've never actually seen the Hunger Games.
How dare you? You're fired.
I've already told you this,
I don't
but
remember that. I love that series though.
I know you do. But there's also strategy to it because, for instance, if there's eight, there's nine teams left, for instance, still in the game, only enough supplies for seven people to get a loaf of bread per se.
Yeah.
Then and the loved ones all have to collectively decide who's not going to get one. And each minute that passes without them deciding, one less person is going to get a one.
Wow.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I might look
So
into this show. We'll see.
yeah, it's interesting.
So
Back to the amazing.
we
What?
learned that our first clue is at the bottom of the stairs on top of their luggage.
Hey, that's what I was about to say. Yes, and they get down there, and route info says we're flying to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, yes.
They
And
have
I
to
do.
go. What?
You're driving the show because I didn't take notes as extensively as normal. I do have a quick note from the airport. It's when they're getting to know each other and someone asked Larry what his name was. And Larry says his name is Handsome Stranger. He was named after his dad. That
Hey,
made me laugh, and I'm absolutely stealing that line.
before we get any further, what we didn't do was quotes. That reminded me.
Yeah, I forgot to write quotes down. I think I was just writing them down as I was going. I used to, in our rewatches, I put them at the top of my notes page. So I don't know if I have any others, but that was my favorite. Is what's your name? Handsome Stranger. I was named after my dad.
Yeah, that was a good one. I have that. Larry's name is Handsome Stranger. And then, so I'm going to share my quotes, and if you end up finding more, that's fine. Uh, my next two quotes also both involve Larry and Mark. Mark lets us know that they're just old broke rednecks,
Yeah.
and then he also told the other people in the airport, "We are just the old guys." And Courtney and Jasmine, I'm not sure which one, says, "We know."
Huh.
I also have. Okay, so it's not all just funny quotes. I also have like meaningful quotes, powerful quotes, things like that.
Yeah.
And this is one of those. Um, when Courtney and Jasmine were I'm not sure what they were doing at this point, but it's always the hardest right before the victory. I really liked that line.
Yeah.
Um, oh, Josiah talking about Alyssa says, "I'm the clown to her genius."
Yeah.
Another Mark line here. Last time I did a dance, I had a snake underneath me. It was called the something dance. I can't even read my own writing.
I can't read your writing either, but that's because I can't see it.
You wouldn't be able to read it anyway if I can't figure out what this is. But yeah,
Welcome to my mom's world, dealing with me and my dad.
the last time I danced, there was a snake underneath me.
Oh wow, that's
um,
well, thank you.
let's see. I know I have a couple more. Oh, it was another. My last one is another like meaningful quote, and it was Larry talking about Mark at the end of the race, and he almost went into tears, and so I really wanted to share what he said there. He said, "When you pick up the phone, you never know who's going to be there, but I know he always will." And I just thought that was really
Yeah,
sweet moment. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Like you said, they had to go to the airport. They had to get in a marked car to go to the airport. And another thing we find out real quick about one of our contestants is Jack from Jack and Carson. He lived in LA for 4 years, so they weren't even using map or directions to get their way to LAX, which is a very big benefit, I feel like, here.
yeah.
Um,
And by the way, and I texted Kevin this while I was watching yesterday, the fact that we are finally like going to airports and arranging travel again, and not just on like CBS's private chartered COVID plague plane altogether, it makes me happy. I miss
absolutely.
I miss these. We haven't had this for a while.
We had it back in 35.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forget the last two seasons were released backwards from how they were filmed,
Hmm.
but this makes me happy to see.
Yeah, me too. But the flights, the first it was really odd here because the first flight had 4 spots, and then the second flight had 10 spots.
Yeah.
So we see Jonathan and Anna, Carson and Jack, Melinda and Erica, and Courtney and Jasmine hit the first flight, which was an hour ahead of the second flight. And then everybody else, so Han and Holden, Bridget and Ernest, Brett and Mark, Scott and Lori, Pops and Jeff, Nick and Mike, Jackie and Lauren, Mark and Larry, Bernie and Kerrigan, Josiah and Alyssa, they get to go on flight number 2. And that's where I have that we found out that Larry's name is Handsome Stranger. But that's besides the fact
Yeah,
now.
I didn't take notes near as well as I normally do because I was just kind of wrapped up in the episode. So I'm like,
And
oh, let me jot this down real quick. So
and
I missed a lot of airport stuff there because I was just watching it.
how dare you?
How dare I
Um,
be in the moment and enjoy it instead of taking pictures or taking notes?
to be fair,
No,
I,
you're
I,
right. I should have been doing better. I'm just trying. I'm flailing at this point.
I so they have to, uh, they get to Hong Kong because who cares if we watch them fly in an airplane? They find their next clue by walking up the steps at Tien Tan Buddha, a giant Buddha statue, and uh, and so they have to go up there, and once they get to the top of the statue, uh,
Hundreds of stairs, by the way. So many
what's that?
stairs. So many stairs.
Yeah, and Jackie and Lauren had a really tough time with the stairs. I've
One of
never
them's
heard.
afraid of going downstairs.
Yeah, okay, but also, since hearing their exit interviews and stuff, they it wasn't just it wasn't just like they were just stairs. It's stairs that are marble, and it's raining outside, and so they're slick and wet, and you have a
Yeah.
65-pound backpack on and no guardrails, and so it kind of was a precarious situation for somebody who's a little less athletic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, but anyway, once they get to the top of the stairs, they get their next clue, which is route info again. They have to take a sun ferry to Chungchan Island, and it looks for a while. There was a little bit of time where I didn't really have any notes because nothing was happening. They were just like having some confessionals in a taxi or climbing stairs. But it looks for a little bit that like Carson and Jack were going to get lost because Jonathan and Anna uh, took a different route to
Yeah.
the Sun Ferry than they did. Uh,
Is this taxi ride confessional where we learned that Jonathan and Anna had been separated at one point and watching the show brought them back together? I have
it,
that
it's
note.
it's very close, not quite, very close.
I made a note of that. That's a cool story. And now they're on the show that brought them back together.
Yeah, yeah, I have some stuff on that too, and I can speak on that as well in a minute. But um, before they get any further, we the second flight landed 11 minutes early, so they were actually only 49 minutes later than the first flight. Anyway, Karsten and Jack are not lost. We find out, but the confessional before the confessional you're talking about was in the taxi. We find out that there's a flight. John and Anna were able to get to use the taxi driver's phone and find out that there was a Sun Ferry leaving in 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they asked how far away from the Sun Ferry they were, and they found out they were 25 minutes away. So it was going to be very tight. So when we get there, I just found it funny because is literally screaming emergency at the ticket counter when
Yeah,
it's
that's not
not an
what screaming
actual
emergency is
emergency.
for.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're gonna get yourself in trouble here, but they didn't. But they made it onto the ferry. They were the only group that got on the first ferry ride,
Yeah.
and that is when we get the Jonathan and Anna were separated for over a year
Yeah.
moment, and the Amazing Race, like you were saying, helped heal their marriage.
Yeah. So
They
cool.
were able to find common ground um, and start talking after watching this show together, and that's a really cool story.
Very cool. I love that very much.
Yes, sir. Um,
I'm very happy they're on my team. They're really cool.
so I
They are on my team, question.
they are on your team.
Okay, I
Um,
was about to pull up my draft list because I started second guessing myself.
so I have very mixed emotions about Jonathan and Anna, and we'll get into that when we talk about likability at
Yeah. I
the
do
end.
think it's interesting, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit. They did such a good job rushing to get on this first ferry, but the ferries bringing them back were so delayed that pretty much everyone caught up to them, and we were all waiting on ferries together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that ferry schedule is insane because the ferry they got on first was so far ahead of everyone else. And because they were that spaced out, everyone was able to catch up to them.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Um, Yeah, because John and Anna they got the first ferry over to the island, but then the second ferry, the 12 teams that are not Jonathan and Anna and not Jackie and Lauren
Yeah.
all went on the second one, and then
Yeah.
Jackie and Lauren went on the third one by themselves. Um,
I
but
unfortunately figured out pretty early in the episode Jackie and Lauren were going home.
and they were yours. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, roadblock when we get to Chungchon Island. Who's ready for the ups and downs? And Bruce, do you want to explain what the roadblock was?
Yeah, so there's this like slippery tower that usually the Hong Kong people, the people of Hong Kong, will climb up it and retrieve like hamburger buns off of it.
Which is such a weird.
But the hamburger buns aren't on it, and we have clues tied to the top of it. So we just have to climb to the top of this tower that has very little places to like grip your foot or anything and grab your clue.
Yeah, who's gonna do it? You or me?
I don't know. I don't think either of us would be good at this. Also, it's
You
raining.
don't.
There's
You don't
already
think
no
I'd be
grip on
good
the
at?
tower, and it's raining.
You don't think I could be good at climbing?
I, I don't know. This tower just looks awful to climb.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because there's already very little grip on it, but this day it was raining too. So
But also just this concept of a tower that you climb on to get buns is
I
so weird.
know, I love it so much.
But also, I love the fact that you had to clarify that Hong Kong people are the people of Hong Kong.
Well, I had to be thorough.
Anyway, the people who did this roadblock, I have noted as this is in order: Anna, Bernie, Han, Lori, Brett, Josiah, Bridget, Carson, Mike, Erica, Jasmine, Pops, Mark, Lauren. Um, I noted here that the rain is making this roadblock hard because it's
Yeah.
slippery and
It would be slippery without the rain too. That's the thing, too.
right, right. It's just worse.
This is just the worst possible weather for this challenge.
Correct. But the cool thing was Anna and Jonathan got done with this before any team even got to the island.
Yeah.
So they were really waiting for a long time. Um,
That's what I'm saying. It's insane.
yeah. But the once you climb up this thing and get your clue, it's more route info where you have to travel to Lock something Street Park, fork in the road ahead. And it explains that only 7 teams can go either way. And at this point, finally, Jonathan and Anna are already done. Everybody else is on the way over. Jackie and Lauren finally get on their third ferry. But Jonathan and Anna have to wait till 10:10 to get a ferry back. Okay. So it was when Jasmine was climbing up this tower that Courtney yelled, "It's always the hardest right before the victory," for reference there. But like you said before, everybody catches up to John and Anna here. There's 13 teams on the one ferry, which is just insane.
It's insane that the ferry schedule is that spaced out to me
Yeah.
because it wasn't that way coming out.
We find out that Lauren is really bad at climbing.
Yeah, we do.
And we find out that Jackie is a really good encourager. Because for as bad as they were doing the whole episode, I was so impressed with their attitudes.
Oh yeah, their attitude was great. Unfortunately, I figured out by this point in the episode, like, oh, I'm probably not going to have them on my screen another episode.
Mm-hmm.
But
we got lots of them on our screen this episode.
Yeah, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And then once Lauren finally got to the clue, she cried all the way down. I don't know. It was just kind of this beautiful scene of her realizing what she can do, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. But then we get people finally getting to the fork in the road. Dance or sing. And do you want to explain what dance or sing means?
Yeah, one of them you dance and the other one you sing an opera.
In a little more detail?
Oh, you do this like dragon dance thing, like you've probably seen on TV a lot or on cartoons
It's
and
a
stuff.
two-person dance with a head and a tail.
Yeah, dragon dance. So, and then the other one, they like paint your face up and give you a costume, and you have to memorize a line and like dance moves from this Chinese opera thing.
And actually, it's not a dragon, by the way.
Close enough.
It's a lion.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
They both breathe fire.
No, they don't.
They do now.
No, they don't.
It looked like a dragon. I stand by my comment. They're the same animal now.
Mr. Phil told us it was a lion.
Mr. Phil told us it was a lion, but lion and dragon are interchangeable terms now.
No, they're not. And then yes, they had to dress and perform and sing a Cantonese opera for the sing part. But how this split up was that the 7 teams that did dance were Carson and Jack, Nick and Mike, Ernest and Bridget, Bernie and Kerrigan, Mark and Larry, Brett and Mark, and Courtney and Jasmine. And that was the order they got there in. And for Sing, it was Josiah and Alyssa, Han and Holden, Erica and Melinda, Pops and Jeff, Jonathan and Anna, Scott and Lori, and Jackie and Lauren. And we find out a few more things about people at this point. Han and Holden, they chose the singing because though they don't speak Chinese, they speak Vietnamese. They thought that the language barrier thing would help them.
Yeah.
We find out that just like you made multiple mentions in our cast analysis about Jonathan and Anna looking like dancers, we find out that Anna was a dancer, and that's how they met.
I felt so smart. Thank you for
I,
confirming that for me.
yeah, I mean, I'll give you credit where credit is due. You nailed it.
Credit is always due in my direction.
That is not true. Anyway,
I do think something is smart. Josiah and Alyssa were the first to choose sing, and they did it because a lot of pairs had already picked dance, and no one had picked sing, and they
yeah,
knew no one would be ahead of them on that one.
definitely.
That was smart.
They added a little bit of strategy with this twist.
I did call my mom at this point in the episode yesterday just to ask her which one we would choose, and she said dance because memorizing the words and inflections of a foreign language would be really hard.
Which one would you and I choose?
Probably dance. I like singing better just for my own entertainment, but the teams that finished dance almost all finished ahead of the teams that finished sing.
Yes, that is very true. Would you be the head or the tail?
I don't know. Whichever one's easier.
I don't think either one's easier.
Well, that's the one I'm picking.
Anyway, we also find out that Scott was a cheerleader in college.
That's cool.
Yes. And Jackie and Lauren are still on the boat.
It's almost comical at this point that we'll be watching the teams race each other and then just flash back to Jackie and Lauren forever behind.
Right. Carson and Jack are the first ones done with dance. And so we get to know our pit stop. Because the fork in the road, while I think there was a little bit of a misadvertisement here in 2 parallel races, the fact that we only got one challenge between the parallel races was kind of like I feel like that could have been planned out a little bit better, but
The 2 different mats at the pit stop was cool.
yeah. But our pit stop is at West Kowloon Cultural District Art Park Terrace.
Good Lord, that's a lot of words for a name.
That's what I thought. But as you were saying, out of the 7 dance teams, 5 of them were done before a single sing team finished. Brett and Mark were the second team done with dance. Bernie and Kerrigan third, Ernest and Bridget fourth, and Nick and Mike fifth. All finished dance and started towards the pit stop before Josiah and Alyssa got done with sing.
I cannot believe you did not. You forgot to mention the reward. You used to always yell at me for not mentioning the rewards people.
No. I'm not at the pit stop yet.
You're going through the finish line.
No, I'm not.
You literally just said Brett and Mark were the second one to finish dance.
Yeah, but
that came out of your mouth.
Bruce, there's a difference between finish dance and get to the pit stop.
Okay, well, they were also the second to
but
finish
I haven't got there. But I haven't got there.
Well, get there already.
You just didn't understand what I was saying. Because
I don't care anymore.
Let me speak, Bruce. Not or leaving the challenge before does not necessarily mean that's where you're going to finish.
Well, I was
And we
looking at the finish, and you said second, which was where they finished. So that was a
well,
fair assumption.
if you would have continued to listen, I said Bernie and Kerrigan left third, and they did not finish third,
Fair
and
enough,
Ernest
but I
and
stopped
Bridget left
listening by
fourth,
then.
and they did not finish fourth.
It's
If
not
you
my
would,
fault that I stopped listening.
yeah, it is. Okay. Anyway, Jackie and Lauren, I have another comment about how good spirits they're in. We've already talked about that. We don't need to keep that on. Now, for what you were wanting me to say, Jack and Carson finish both first overall, or first in dance and first overall to win the leg and get $3,000 that they can enjoy at the end of the race.
There you go. You didn't forget it this time.
I never forgot it.
Debatable.
No, it's not. And I can prove that by just listening to the podcast. But Brett and Mark, they come in right after that, second in dance and second overall.
I
And
was
then and
right.
then and then there is a little bit of a break here as Courtney and Jasmine are the sixth team to leave dance. They overpowered Mark and Larry here. Um, and it looked like I don't know, but it looked like it was their first attempt. They didn't show us any previous attempts of Courtney and Jasmine to do dance.
Yeah.
So either they're really good or they just wanted us to think they're really good. Either way, right after that, Mark and Larry finished. So all dance teams are done with only one sing team being done.
That's
But
insane.
right after that, Jonathan and Anna finished the singing. And then right after that, we go back to the pit stop where Ernest and Bridget finished third dance, third overall. Note that Ernest and Bridget were not the third team to leave dance.
Well, the finish line is what matters. So they finished third. Good for them.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Bernie and Kerrigan, fourth dance, fourth overall. Josiah and Alyssa, first dance, fifth overall, which earns them another $3,000 since they were the first to be done with their side of the leg.
Thank you for telling me about the reward.
Glad I could help you with that.
You don't sound very glad.
And here's another quote I didn't share earlier. When Alyssa got done, I thought it was a good attitude with them um, because Phil was like, you got to be glad, that you got first in this leg of the race and everything. And she basically said, yeah, but we got to have a short memory about it. It's on to the next leg now. We
Yeah.
can't. We got to put this in our rear view, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated that thought.
Yeah.
Then we have Nick and Mike come in, fifth dance, sixth overall. Courtney and Jasmine finished sixth dance, seventh overall. And then Mark and Larry come in, seventh dance, eighth overall, and they're eliminated. And this is my problem with um with the fork in the road.
Yeah.
The fact that the eighth team to finish out of 14 teams gets eliminated.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I've been wrestling back and forth. I like the function in thought and concept, but then when I watch it play out, I really struggle with the fact that there were six teams to finish behind one of the two eliminated teams.
Yes, but when it's two separate races at that point, they're technically like in their race, no one finished behind them.
Right. I get that. But it's just like I don't know. It just seems a little off to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah, I don't know. It bothered me a little bit. I'm
I
not
get what you're saying completely. It doesn't bother me, but I get it.
which it surprises me that it doesn't bother you.
Eh, I, I mean, it's not great, but I understand it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense in theory. It's just in the way it played out. I just didn't. I that just didn't sit right with me a little bit, I
I
guess.
assume when they came up with this twist, they weren't expecting one of the two
Yeah, and I think
to
that
be
was
that much quicker. They probably expected the last in each one would be the last two overall.
and I think that was kind of the flaw there is if they're gonna do this, I think that they should have made two challenges that were or two tasks that were more even in nature
Yeah.
than what they did, and I think that would fix the problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, Larry starts crying here. I already gave you his quote about Mark. Mark has a really good attitude. He's talking about how they got to do this all day, right? And
Who's,
so,
who's
um,
Mark? That's Handsome Stranger Jr.
yeah,
I love that so
right.
much.
Handsome Stranger Junior has such a great attitude
Which
about this.
he didn't say Junior, but he said he was named after his dad, which implies his dad is also Handsome Stranger. So I called him Handsome Stranger Jr.
Right. And then finally, after we get a whole elimination, to this point, there are only two people that have uh, that have even finished the sing. Only one of them has gotten to the mat yet. But we go back to the challenge and we see some more people finish the challenge. Pops and Jeff finished at third, Scott and Lori in fourth, Hun and Holden in fifth, Erica and Melinda in sixth. And then finally, the second team that finished it, Jonathan and Anna, come into the pit stop of ninth overall and tell us that second is not good enough. John wanted first. Um,
I appreciate that.
I do, and I don't, in the sense that John wanted first, he got second, but really he was the ninth team of the pit stop, so he wasn't really that close to one at all.
But again,
I know.
if you take two separate races into account, that I appreciate the never satisfied mindset though. Like when I was doing cross country, if I didn't hit my personal record each race, I wasn't happy with it. So I
No,
kind
that's
of
fair.
appreciate that mindset he has of just not being satisfied with anything other than winning.
Yeah, I understand that. I get that. I was just making that comment because, yeah, it's two separate races for now, but we're going back to one right away, and he's going to be
Yeah,
starting in ninth place.
we're
Uh,
going back to one, but for this episode, it wasn't one race like you're thinking of it as.
I I know, Bruce.
Again, dumb twist, kind of, but this is what we're working with.
But I am still mentioning where they place overall because that's going
Yeah.
to play impact into how things go forward. Scott and Lori, they were the third to come in from Sing, finishing 10th overall. Pops and Jeff were fourth to come in from Sing, finishing 11th overall. Han and Holden, fifth from Sing, finishing 12th overall. And Erica and Melinda, sixth coming in from Sing, finishing 13 overall. Jackie and Lauren, obviously, being the last ones done with Sing. Um, and Jackie and Lauren finished 14th overall, seventh in Sing, and are the second team here eliminated. Oh, and I did have another quote I liked, but I handed over two pieces of paper, and it was Lauren. It was Lauren on her way out. When I pass from this earth, I want my tombstone to read, "I was on Amazing Race 37." And that's how this episode ended, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
And so that's how that was this episode of The Amazing Race. We got to see the first ever fork in the road. We got to meet and see 14 separate teams race, the most in Amazing Race history. Um, we got to see a double elimination with Handsome Stranger Jr. and Larry and Jackie and Lauren. Two awesome teams that we unfortunately see gone too soon. And it was a great episode. What did you think of the episode as a whole, Bruce?
Very fun. Sad to see Handsome Stranger and Larry go home. They were very fun. Sad to see Jackie and Lauren go home. I like them also. This is a really fun cast. There's not a team that I don't like or that I want to see go home. Oh, he's talking. He left me again. No, but to keep going, I'll try to filibuster. This is just such a fun cast. There's likable moments with every team here, and it's just a fun episode. I think it's going to be a really fun season.
All right, I'm back. What'd you say?
All of you want me to repeat the whole thing?
No, just give me the lowdown.
I like everyone.
You like everyone. Okay. Real quick, did you see the next time on?
No,
Why did you not watch the next time on?
I don't know. I'll see you
Like,
next week.
well, we are reintroducing the
Let's
intersection.
see.
No, the intersection,
I don't remember seeing that before.
which you have not.
Okay.
But the intersection is a challenge that requires two teams to work together.
Wait a second. He didn't say no NELs at the beginning. I just
No,
want.
I don't. I don't remember hearing that.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean there will be either.
I know, but I don't know from the beginning that there aren't. So that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, two teams are going to have to work together. The intersection was first introduced in season 10.
Huh.
Let's see. Intersection history. This says season 6. Oh, it was his route info. It wasn't in it. It was still. It was done in season 6, but not branded as the intersection. Um, um, Season 10, All Stars, season 11, 16, and now 37 all had the intersection as part of it. Um, that's basically all you missed from the first time on, or the next time on, I mean. So, with
Mhm.
that being said, Bruce, I asked you to do a little homework here.
Yeah.
I needed a likability ranking and I needed a power ranking.
Okay.
Um, let's start with the likability ranking, and we'll start with 14th place, and you and me will go back and forth as how we view these people.
Okay. This is hard because either everyone we saw I liked, so I'm kind of just basing this off of the bottom of this list is people that didn't get a ton of screen time. I didn't see a ton from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go Jasmine and Courtney here, but I have nothing against them.
Okay.
They just really didn't show us anything with them, almost.
I think you're going to be really surprised by what I do here.
Yeah.
My 14th team never expected this to be the case. Jonathan and Anna.
Huh. I am way different on that.
Like you, I pretty much like everybody on this race, and there were things that I can appreciate, like the never satisfied attitude and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there was a point where it just he just seemed to be a little frustrated throughout the race, not just at the end, but throughout the race, and it
Hmm.
just kind of gave me a bad vibe.
I didn't pick up on that. I believe you, but
It was a lot of it was like understandable frustration when everybody started catching up, but
oh
just
yeah, I would have felt the same way.
yeah, me too. But I don't know. There was he just kind of had this attitude for the rest of the day to me,
Fair enough.
and he said a couple things that I didn't like to his wife. I don't have it written down what he said, but I just remember I didn't get great vibes as I did pre-season.
Yeah.
But 5 episodes from now, I could be walking that
I
back.
liked them, and they kind of felt like one of the star teams of the episode based on the amount of screen time they got.
They did, and there is very far distances in some of my likability versus my power rankings.
Yeah.
This is simply who I enjoy the
Yeah.
most. So who do you have at 13?
At 13, I'll say Melinda and Erica.
Okay. And I will say Carson and Jack.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, I guess I just don't overly relate with them. They're the gamer type that I'm not. I wasn't very high on in preseason, even though they came out and won this leg. They're a better team than I thought they were going to be, but they're just not my favorite.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's why they're my 13 team coming up next. So
What?
they're my next team.
That's 12, not 13.
Well,
You had Eric and Melinda at 13.
this is at 13 number one. The other one was 13 number two. I don't know. I'm having a hard time making up a reason that I'm not wrong with this one, to be honest. Usually I can make up some dumb reason and explain why I'm not wrong. This one's hard. It's 12, not 13.
Because that's just how numbers work.
I know. Normally I can like come up with some dumb BS reason why I'm not wrong, but I can't this time. I don't like this feeling.
Kind of like you had a feeling you didn't like on uh,
Oh
Traders
yeah,
podcast.
Trader's finale. I was wrong about something, and I said I'm wrong. I'm not used to this.
All right, so 12, you have Carson and Jack. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just not super relatable. I'm not a gamer. I'm not a streamer.
Mm-hmm. 12 for me were Brett and Mark. I don't not like them. Like they're pretty cool. It's just I didn't get a lot from them. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't, and so I didn't have a whole lot to go on. That's just where it was. Who's your 11?
My 11 is going to be for a lot of that same reason with Brett and Mark that you said. I'll go Ernest and Bridget here. I just don't feel like we saw them a ton.
Sure, yeah. And I have Han and Holden here.
Them we saw a little bit from.
We did see a little bit from them. Um, I'm just I just kind of at that 11 spot. I kind of reverted back to my predictions that they weren't going to go far,
Yeah.
and, and let that influence me a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who do you have at 10?
At 10, I have Brett and Mark.
Okay. My 10 is Erica and Melinda. Oh, did you want to say why you had Brett and Mark at 10?
I like them. We barely see any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my reasoning for all of these lower end ones so far.
That's fair. Eric and Melinda, like you said, they were kind of purpled. They have a sweet like relationship though, and so I had them a little bit higher here at 10.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. 9.
9. Okay, so this is where we kind of starting to get into the teams that we saw content from. And so I am going to say Han and Holden here
Okay.
because we saw them, I like them, but I like other teams better.
Yeah, makes sense. For me, I have Ernest and Bridget here at 9. Um, Once again, a cool dynamic between them. This is where they had to land for me based on what we've seen and how things are.
Makes
What
sense.
about 8? What about 8?
I'm up to 8 now.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to go with. There's two teams that are really close here.
Okay.
I'm going to have my tiebreaker be one of these two teams I will keep seeing and one of them I won't. So I'm going to put the team I'm going to keep seeing ahead a little bit, and I'm going to put Mark and Larry here. But it was close.
Okay. Number 8 for me is Scott and Lori.
I forgot about them. I should have put them at 8. They're at 8. I forgot to put them on this.
Hmm.
I like both of my other teams better than them, honestly.
They're they're cool and everything, and like I said, I saw them compete on Raid the Cage and stuff, and they're a sweet couple, but I would not rank them any higher than the other seven people.
Yeah, I agree. I completely forgot about them.
Hmm. All right, so I assume that means seven for you is Handsome Stranger Junior and Larry.
Yes, Handsome Stranger and Larry are here at 7.
Okay.
Which ironically is where they finished in their race. So,
Yes. For seven for me, I have my first overall pick with Nick and Mike.
huh.
Um, they're super cool and super fun. There's so many teams that I like here. I mean, it's simply like these seven are seven that could all have arguments
Oh
to be
yeah,
higher than they are. And so this is just where I landed.
that's fair.
What do you got at six?
Um, autocorrect corrected my name here. The real one, their real team name is Bernie and Kerrigan, and I love them. But what I just realized, autocorrect corrected Kerrigan to Cardigan.
Oh, Bernie and Cardigan. Nice.
That's what it says on my notes right now.
Okay,
So
that's what we're gonna call them all season long now.
I do. They're great though. They're so much fun.
Absolutely. Number six for me is Courtney and Jasmine. You had them very low here.
Like I just don't feel like I know them. We saw like 2 scenes of them.
I disagree with that. I think we got more than you think we did.
Fair.
Um,
It
they
was,
we got
and it
a
was very
quote.
unbalanced, and we got a lot of a few teams. So
Yeah,
the teams that aren't those teams, I kind of just don't feel like I know most of these teams yet. But they all seem fun.
we got a quote from her that I really liked um with that victory thing.
Yeah,
Um, we got to see a lot of them as they were in like 13th, trying to race up and finish seventh
yeah,
overall, sixth at dance. I think that we did get a decent amount of content compared to other teams.
that's fair. Well, we definitely got more than like other teams, but like I guess they're kind of middle of the pack.
You put them in last.
Did I?
Yeah, and said
I
you
just
didn't.
don't remember a ton from then. I'm remembering it now that you're saying it,
Yeah,
but I'm just kind of neutral on them watching through. Come, because like I said, the teams that got the most airtime got a like ridiculous amount almost, and I
right.
like those teams. These are the teams at the top of my list, but everyone else kind of just blended together for a
So
little
who do
while.
you have at five?
At 5, let me look at who's left. So at 5, I'm going to go with Jackie and Lauren. I love them very much, and they were for being so far behind. They were one of the teams that got a ton of airtime, and I appreciate that because they're fantastic. But like you said, this is just such a strong group at the top of the list that someone has to be here.
Yeah, I also put Jackie and Lauren at five.
I love them
Um,
though; they're great. They need
no,
to
they
come
are.
back.
I mean, for a 14-person cast, the fact that our last place finisher is fifth overall, that says something about them.
And
Because sometimes we have some pretty mediocre teams that are going out in the first few
and
weeks
not just last place, but like last place by a lot.
by a lot.
And it
Yeah,
was still this high for them. So
yeah.
shout to them.
Um, I do think it's valid to notice though that no matter when it's somebody's boot week, they're going to get more confessional and
Yeah,
material on this show especially. But I love Jackie and Lauren; they were
yeah,
great.
fantastic.
Who do you got at four?
At 4, I have so the 4 I have left are Pops and Jeff, Jonathan and Anna, Alyssa and Josiah, and Nick and Mike. I'll go with Alyssa and Josiah here. They're fantastic. Their decision to go with Sing because 4 other teams or however many had chosen dance and they knew no one would be ahead of them was fantastically smart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going with them here.
Yeah, I love that. I actually had the other team that went home, Mark and Larry, all the way up here in fourth place.
Nice.
I absolutely loved them. If nothing more, the way that they left this game was incredible.
Yeah.
But they were amazing on our TV. And Handsome Stranger Jr. and Larry brought lots of quotes, lots of fun moments in their one episode. Absolutely loved them on the show.
Yeah.
Who do you got at three?
Three in these top three teams, I love all of them. And on some of on other casts, any of the three of these could have been my favorite team on a season. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with Nick and Mike here, but
Okay.
it's close.
Okay. For me here, I have Josiah and Alyssa here.
Yeah.
They were a lot of fun. We get things like I'm the clown to her genius. Great strategic people.
Yeah.
On the next time on, we see some very fun moments regarding them, and I just loved them.
Yeah.
At two,
At two, I'm going with the team that you don't like and that you hate, and that's Jonathan and Anna that you put in last place. And part of this is biased because, like I said, it's a very top heavy edit. But I just love the way they work together. I love their story. And, like, the moments he gets frustrated, like finishing second, not first, or like having such a lead that you lost because of the ferry schedule, like, it's not like I get it. I'd feel the same way. So I like these two a lot, even
no,
though Kevin doesn't.
and I think that it was justified there. It was
Yeah.
the other times, like when he would make an offhanded comment to Anna.
Yeah.
There was things like that that I didn't like.
I think I missed one or two of those. I
Yeah,
don't remember it.
yeah. I didn't write it down, but I remember feeling kind of sour in my mouth about it.
Yeah. So like Vinny
Um,
type of stuff from Vinny and Amber last season.
yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I just like
Um,
this team though. They were fun to watch, and they're so
not
cool that the show brought them together, and now they're on that same show.
yeah.
Even though Kevin
Not.
has them last and doesn't like them.
I want to get it across that not that Jonathan is as bad as Vinny was.
Fair enough.
My Vinny just like runs deep.
Put Vinny and Amber and Ron and Kelly as the in a finale together, and make Kevin watch it on a loop for 24 hours.
That sounds terrible. Um, Amber
Or
would be fine.
Amber.
Amber would be fine.
I know Amber would be having to deal with those three others though.
I'm even okay with Ron.
I was okay with Ron for a while. They were like just the two of them together, and the whole like the way the relationship storyline was edited. Ron and Kelly were insufferable for me the last three episodes of that season. Like I just don't ever want to see either of them on the race after that.
Yeah.
Ron was fine most of the season though.
My number two here is your number one,
Yeah,
Pops and Jeff.
and
And
I'm biased because Pops and Jeff being my number one is not solely based on the show. I got to message with them a little bit last week, and Jeff went to a high school that like I know a lot of people that have gone there. So
Mhm.
my best friend Mark went there.
Really,
Yeah, McClure North. So
that's wild.
yeah, I know a
Um,
decent amount of people that went there. I'm pretty sure.
right. But yeah, Pops and Jeff are awesome. Absolutely love them. Great TV. Like we've talked about, Pops is in some pretty darn good shape for being 64, and that's going to serve him well, I think. And that leads to your number one, Bruce.
My number one is of course Brooke and Robbie.
We're not talking about power rankings yet. Come on.
True. I love that I don't even get an eye roll for making the same joke that I made for a bunch in our last rewatch, but I'm getting eye roll for making the joke in the wrong rankings. Brooke and Robbie did well on our likability rankings from halfway through the season forward, though.
Yeah, just not at the beginning.
No, and I just talked about it. It is Pops and Jeff. It's me being a complete homer and me being a very St. Louis person than just rooting for the guys repping my hometown. So, but they were really fun too. Again, we saw a little bit from them, but compared to teams like Jonathan and Anna, Jackie and Lauren, I don't feel like we saw as much from them as I would have liked.
We got time.
We got
Um,
some.
but
Watching them do the singing thing was cool.
my number one, I don't even know if you know who I have left.
I don't.
That's what I thought. My number one team, my favorite team of the season. It's not going to surprise you, I don't think.
Yeah,
Bernie and Kerrigan.
they're fantastic. I love them. I should
I
have put
love
them
them.
higher.
I love them. Like we talked about in our cast assessment, they are giving very much my favorite team from Amazing Race 25.
Yeah.
They're giving Kim and Allie here, um and so yeah, I'm riding with Bernie and Kerrigan.
Yeah.
And so that is our likability rankings. Let's talk about some power rankings here, Bruce. Let's talk
Okay.
about how we expect, or like how we feel about the competition level, and just who's going to do well right as of right now from what we've seen. Who do you have in the number 12 most likely to go home next spot?
Number 12, I'm going to go with Melinda and Erica.
That's also who I have.
Well, I'm going to be honest, we've had one episode, so most of this is going to be based on finishing order for me because that's all I have.
That is not how I did all of it. Some of it, not all of it.
Same. For me, it's most of it, but not completely all of it. I switched a few of them around.
Fair. Eric and Melinda, they just seem to uh, they're going to be starting in last, and they're just a little bit weaker than some of the other teams. We'll see. Maybe we'll be wrong. But
Yeah, we'll
who
see.
do you have at 11? Who you got at 11?
In 11th, I have Han and Holden.
Really?
Yeah,
They didn't even like finish that low though.
they were second to last on of the people left.
Were they really?
I have them down as being fifth on Sing.
Yeah, but it was really close there. Puffs and Jeff, Han and Holden, and Erica and Melinda all got there at the same time.
Yeah, and again, as we get deeper into the race, I'll be able to do power rankings with more to go on. But like, I have one episode to go on right now, so I based it off of finishing order, and then I changed a couple names around here and there.
That's valid. I also have Han and Holden here. For me, it
Really?
was,
I didn't think they were that low.
but there's a difference. I've been low on Han and Holden from the start.
Fair enough.
I had them ranked at the very bottom of the draft board for me at the beginning. Remember, and
Yeah.
I don't see a huge future for them. I could be completely wrong, but that's why I put them here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who you got at 10?
At 10, this is where I start. This is one of the times I deviate from the finishing order. Is
I knew you weren't putting Pops and Jeff next.
No, and I'm not gonna put them first. I'm not gonna go complete bias here. I am going off of what we see on the show,
I
but
figured.
I am gonna go with Scott and Lori here
Interesting. Okay. How come?
because I think they're the 10th best team left.
Interesting. I have Courtney and Jasmine here.
Interesting.
I like Courtney and Jasmine a lot. Keep in
Yeah.
mind that they were in leading up to the point where they hit the fork in the road, they were in 13th place.
Yeah.
And they were fighting to stay in.
Yeah.
And they happened to get a fork in the road task that fit their strengths, but I don't know how what the longevity looks like there.
Yeah. And so my next one, whatever number is next,
9.
okay, my number 8 pick is,
9.
oh, you said 8.
No, I didn't. I said 9.
No, you did not, but whatever number, 9, I guess. Now that you said 9 this time,
Okay.
I'm going to go with them. I'm going with Jasmine and Courtney. The two separate races benefited them, but we're not in two races anymore. We're in one race now.
Yeah, I agree completely. My number 9 was Ernest and Bridget, even though they did finish third.
Yeah.
Um, Once again, we're no longer going to be here, and I think that um, I don't know. I just have a feeling that um, they're going to fall victim to um, I don't know. Ernest is a little old, but that doesn't always matter because Steve and Anna Lee were also. Steve was older than I feel like Ernest is, but I
Yeah.
don't think that Bridget is the quality of competitor that Anna Lee was, if that makes sense. So I have them at 9 here.
Interesting.
Who you got at 8?
Oh, now it's 8. Okay.
Dude, I promise when you go back and listen, you're going to hear me say 9 both times.
That implies that I'm gonna listen to the episode.
I will make you listen to that part.
I feel like you're gonna make that part of TikTok reel just to send it to me.
Maybe.
I next am going with hmm. Yeah, Ernest and Bridget does make sense for a lot of the reasons you said. They finished third, but I don't know if it's sustainable or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some really good teams that finish behind them that I think are just better racers than them that will catch up and pass them.
I would agree with that. Number 8 for me is Pops and Jeff.
Yeah,
And I think that they could have longevity, but I also think that Pops and Jeff, though the athletic part they are ready for as lumberjacks, they're very fit.
yeah,
I think if we get more of these singing and dancing type things, I think that that's going to be their downfall.
yeah. So I'm at 7 next.
Yeah,
Hmm. I don't want to, but I kind of have to go with Pops and Jeff here. Just, I mean, like I said, we have one episode to go off of. They finished in the middle of the pack in their race, but they finished below halfway if you combine both races. So
hmm.
I think they'll move up through the pack, but right now this is where they land.
Out of our bottom 6, we have the same bottom 6, just in different orders.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Hmm. Um, my 7 is your 10, Scott and Lori.
Interesting.
Um, I think that the things that I'm worried about for Pops and Jeff, Scott and Lori are going to excel at. And I think we get more of those, between detail and between um, artsy different types of things. I think that covers up more of the race than pure athletic prowess does.
Yeah,
And so I put Scott and Lori here.
that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, number 6.
Number 6, and oh, this is where things start to get hard because teams are up really close here, up at the
Mhm.
top. Hmm. I think they'll get better, but again, basing this off of finishing order a little bit, I'm gonna go with Nick and Mike here.
I also have Nick and Mike here. I think that they will also get better, but it was a strong first part of the leg and a kind of weak back half of the leg for them here.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
So yeah, I couldn't put them any higher than the other five.
Yeah.
Who you got in fifth?
In fifth place, I'm gonna go with Jack and Carson here.
The winners. Wow.
I like them. They did great this reg, and I think they'll keep doing really well. With them both being streamers and both being game, I just think their skill sets and their knowledge pools are too similar.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like you,
For
I feel like the best way to go about the race is to go on it with someone who has a different skill set or knowledge base than you, so you can like be more well
so you can
rounded.
complement each other versus just
It'd
mimic
be
each
really
other.
fun to go on with someone just like you that has all the same interests and knowledge and abilities, but I think that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, that makes sense totally. My number five, I didn't want to do this, but I had to. Bernie and Kerrigan were my number five.
Interesting.
I don't think they're going to be that low for long, but
Yeah.
right now, based on this first episode, I couldn't go any higher.
Yeah.
Who you got at four?
At four, I am going to go with Brett and Mark.
Okay.
I don't have a ton to say about them because we didn't see a ton of them, but they finished second in their race. So,
My number four is Jonathan and Anna.
yeah,
They were on a lot. We see a lot of them at the beginning. We see them in the lead. They still finished second with Singh, even after falling back a little bit. I think that they are strong. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon.
yeah,
So this is where I put them four.
yeah. I at four,
Nope, at three. You're at
I'm
three.
at three. Okay. I am going to go with Alyssa and Josiah here.
Okay.
I think they did really well. And I think they made a really smart strategic decision that catapulted them forward in the overall race by choosing, and I mentioned this a couple times already, choosing the challenge that no one else had gone to yet. So they knew no one would be ahead of them in their race.
Yeah. For my three, I have Carson and Jack here. Um,
The winners, wow.
yeah, three's a lot better than five. Um,
Close enough.
well, while I don't think they are the best team inherently here, it's hard to argue with the results here, and I couldn't put them any lower based on they impressed me. They really did based on what I expected to what I saw. I felt like three was a fair spot for them.
Yeah.
Who you got two?
At two, I have Bernie and Kerrigan. Like I said, they didn't finish. They were middle of the pack this time, but I think they show a lot of potential. They work together really well.
Mm-hmm.
And the best teams will rise to the top eventually. And I think they are one of these teams that will start to work their way up through the pack. And once they reach the near the front, they won't drop after that.
Definitely. I really hope you're right.
I do too. I love them.
Number two for me, I have Josiah and Alyssa.
Yeah.
For all the things you said, but I just love them. I love their dynamic. They're really fun, and they've proven to be a really strong competitive team here that I think is going to be hard to knock off.
That's fair.
And that leaves your number one as
My number one is Jonathan and Anna. And I did have them at number two on my likability rankings, but I'm not just putting them here because I like them. You talk, and yes, you're right. You do mention that they fell through the pack a little bit. I attribute that to the imbalance of the two challenges.
yeah,
If it had been one challenge, or if it had been two challenges that were even remotely similar in difficulty, I think they finished first overall in this leg.
I could definitely see that.
I don't think it's. I mean, it is their fault, but I don't. I think it's not entirely on them that they fell through the pack in the middle of this episode. That's just how this leg was set up, unfortunately,
Right.
and it's also the ferry schedule's fault.
Right, but that means they were in an even kill with 13 other teams, and somehow they were still
Yeah,
the ninth one to get to the fork in the road or whatever.
that's true. They were killing it until the fork in the road and the ferry schedule just happens. That's not anyone's fault. Things like that have happened before. But the challenges being so different in difficulty level, I think kind of impacted the overall finish line. And the overall
Yeah.
finishing order doesn't reflect who the best teams are. As the bottom of my power rankings was very much finishing order. The top of my list is not as much finishing order because of the fork in the road, essentially. I don't think the best teams were the teams that finished in the top spots.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my number one team is somebody that we did not get a ton of content from.
Yeah.
Brett and Mark. I have
Interesting.
them ranked so high because I think they have what it takes. I think that they have the knowledge and the skill set to be able to do the talent portion, but I think they're probably the most athletic people in the competition too. An acrobat. Did you see how fast he climbed up that bamboo chute? That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was impressive. I would
I
stink
I
at that
just
climbing thing.
I just see them being able to excel in a lot of different areas. A few, I mean, everybody has their shortcomings, but um, from what I can tell, their the list of things that they don't at least have a mediocre grasp on is maybe a little slimmer than most of the other teams.
Yeah.
And so that's why I have them at number one, and that concludes the power rankings.
I forgot to make the Brooke and Robbie joke.
You forgot to make the Brooke and Robbie joke.
I did it with likability. It's fine.
You ruined it.
We'll see how they do next week.
Brooke and Robbie, yeah.
Just
But
bring
yeah,
it.
Bruce, this was a really fun episode. I cannot wait to continue. I'm so excited that this is the first time since we've started this podcast that we've actually been able to talk about a live season.
Yes, for sure. It's so much more fun.
Wow, because you weren't having fun with me before. I see how it is.
No, it's just fun not knowing what happens.
You didn't know what happened in 25.
I knew what happened with 7,
Yeah, but not 25.
50%.
Hey, it's not my fault that you wanted to do the number 7.
We agreed on that mutually.
We did.
Go.
Anyway,
Oh,
continue to check out the other Reality Realm content. Tribal Council Chat drops weekly on Saturday. New Generation Challenge podcast just recently dropped a new episode of their periodic coverings of Challenge All Stars 5. Roundtable Talk just dropped their last, or will be just dropping their last episode in a while. With
probably. Yeah, either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, with the conclusion of season 3 of U.S. Traders, we're going to take a little bit of a break over there as Brett thinks he has to travel the world or something. But we'll be back. Stay tuned for the summer. We're going to bring you some more Traders content over there at Roundtable Talk. Check out our Redbubble merch store for all of your Reality Realm needs or desires or wants. Check out any of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, our new Reality Realm TikTok channel, where we take some of our funniest or our best, where we take some of our best clips and throw them over there. our YouTube channel where we have all of our Reality Realm content in video form for you guys. So just check out all of that stuff. And with all that being said, the world is waiting for you. Travel safe, or the world is waiting for you. Good luck.
Travel safe.
Go.
Go.